At any given time, there are dozens of volcanoes erupting on Earth. But reports coming from the remote island of Fogo, off the coast of Africa, are especially alarming. A river of molten lava is advancing on one of its villages. How far will it go? The answer could be the difference between life and death for its residents. I know firsthand how volcanoes behave. I've rappelled deep into exploding fiery craters and explored, up close, many of the world's most active volcanoes. To understand what's happening in Cabo Verde, I have to go and see it for myself. Wow! I'm on my way to Cabo Verde, cluster of 10 volcanic islands off the coast of West Africa. Santiago is the largest of the islands. From there, I'll travel to the island of Fogo, where its namesake volcano is erupting furiously. The last eruption on Fogo happened in 1995. 1,300 people were forced to flee their homes in the middle of the night as lava flowed through their houses and blocked the only road access to the town of Portela. Will the damage be as severe this time? Reports suggest it might actually be worse. Once in Santiago, I meet up with local guide Simon Levy to get up to speed on what's happened since the volcano started erupting just 1 week ago. What are they saying about the situation?
The situation is bigger than the last eruption in 1995.
And this eruption could end tomorrow, or it could go for months.
The people there and here also is all in panic, so they don't know what will happen, so that's the problem.
Wow, there is some concern that this whole area will be filled.
Yes, because Santas Caldeiras, the volcano is higher, so all the small village around, down, so the lava
just goes to the lowest points and fills up. I need to get up there for myself and see where this lava is going and provide my assessment to emergency officials. With the Fogo airport closed, I have to travel by ferry.
Sorry. Squeeze on through.
And I'm not the only one. Emergency aid workers are also making their way to the island. Looks like we're starting to line up now. The people that are evacuating from Fogo are just getting off of the ferry now, and hopefully soon, within the hour, I'll be on the boat and on my way. Hopefully. It's a 4-hour ferry ride from Santiago to Fogo. Our trek to the volcano starts in São Felipe, the island's main city. From here, we'll need to drive up and into the volcano's caldera, the lowlands surrounding the volcano's peak, where the village of Portela is located. So far, the lava has reached the border of the town, steamrolling entire buildings as it moves forward. I've run into Patrick Barois. He's from France. He's a very, very experienced volcanophile, been all over the world. He was here in 1995 for the big eruption there, and he'd written 5 books about volcanoes.
Yes,
so what was it like here during 1995?
There is big lava flow, big explosion, big lava fountain, but this eruption is not the same, because this eruption is more dramatical, because the lava flow now has destroyed the ground, the villages. It's a problem to build a house in this kind of volcano, because it is the house of the volcanoes, and the volcano decide himself what to do.
Right. People that build in there, they're basically building on the volcano's land, the volcano's property, and they're living on borrowed time by building in there. By reaching the volcano, I'm hoping to see the lava flow's direction and get some insight as to whether or not it'll flow past Portela and into the village of Bandeira. It doesn't take long to hit roadblock number 1.
All the other alternative roads to go inside, it's completely destroyed. So that's the reason they stopped, because Portela village is completely covered with the lavas at the moment.
This is one of the villages where the people who've been evacuating from basically the destroyed towns have been setting up shop. Things are getting a little heated here. There are tents, there's food, there's water, but it's crowded. There's only one toilet for the whole facility, so some of the people are not too pleased.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
The people who live here feel they're not being listened to and their needs are being ignored. They're extremely vulnerable, forced to live in the shadow of a volcano in order to take advantage of the rich soil this dangerous corner of the Earth offers. Part of Portela is already hit. Hopefully, the lava will stop before more damage is done.
So let's go to say
Well, let's get up to, of course, where we can. How many lives are in danger? I've got to keep moving if I'm going to find out. Visibility is so bad, can't see anything. As the volcano is erupting, it's releasing carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. While these emissions don't have a huge impact on climate change, the combination of these gases can be lethal for people, animals, and vegetation. As we head towards Portela, we drive through barren land that until recently was thriving with agriculture, an important part of Fogo's economy. Despite the dangers of growing in close proximity to the volcano, more and more people are settling here because there's nowhere else for them to scratch out a living on the island. All right. I finally come face to face with what I've come here to see, the river of lava. This is the brand new lava flow. It's probably a couple of days old. It's not hot. It's warm. The sky is starting to clear up a little bit, so I'm kind of enthusiastic about that because I can hear the vent. The lava is erupting right now. Well, the peak of the volcano is there, above the cloud, but this eruption was not at the summit. This eruption was actually down a fissure eruption along the flanks on the side. Volcanic fissure eruptions occur in cracks or fractures along the side of a volcano, rather than through the main cone or vent. It's definitely still active. It's hard to hear, but it's definitely going on just behind those clouds. Think of this lava flow as a snake. Anything? The tail is 1.5 miles behind us at the base of the volcano. If this is the body, where's the head? We need to get to the very front of this lava flow. Reports suggest it's in Portela.
Let's go.
But who knows what we'll find when we get there.
Fresh lava, let's go.
Lava's moving.
It's moving. That's
Each 1 hour.
Let's do it.
Three days ago, you could keep driving right to Portela, but unfortunately for us, this fast-moving river of lava passed through, leaving a wall of solid rock in its wake.
This used to be the road to the town of Portela, but for some reason, they can't use it anymore. Literally, the end of the road. A construction crew is further up the hill trying to build a new road so the town has access again, but it's going to take some time.
Giving up and turning around isn't an option. So we abandon our vehicle and hike the rest of the way. I need to get to the front of Fogo's lava flow for a sense of where it's going next.
We had to abandon the car because this road is not safe anymore to take a car onto because it could disappear very, very quickly.
Right now, we're at the base of the volcano. The molten lava is flowing from its side and traveling right into town. It's a huge threat to everyone who lives there.
I'm actually at the point where this lava flow is actually on top of the old lava flow from 1995. So you've got stacked flows together. And there's pieces tumbling down here. This whole thing is moving.
When a volcano erupts, all that lava, along with ash, rock fragments, and gases, are ejected into the atmosphere. While the gases will eventually dissipate, the volcanic material will settle and cool on the ground. Eventually, that material will break down and become young, fertile soil, containing many of the same elements found in commercial fertilizers. This can take anywhere from a decade to 100 years. Climate is the single most important factor for soil development. Tropical climates, like Cabo Verde's, help speed up this process. The volcanic soil on Fogo is perfect for harvesting vegetables, coffee beans, and wine grapes. For farmers, the benefits outweigh the risks. Finally, we've made it to Portela, or what's left of it. Until a few days ago, this whole area was covered in vineyards, producing export-quality wine. But the eruption has completely buried the most lucrative vineyards. Now, all that's left is a field of lava and a few drops of wine.
Some Fogo wine. So this is the last wine that was produced here.
It's produced
It's
here.
the very last batch. There will never be any more like this. Oh, that's very strong. That's good.
We knew the town had been hit, but nothing could have prepared us for this. And it's not close to being over.
It's almost unimaginable what's happening here. This unstoppable wall of hot rock is just steamrolling into the town of Portela. I'm up on a hill right now overlooking, and I got a really good view of how vast this lava flow is. And it just goes as far as the eye can see, and it's just pushing into the town. There is almost no chance for most of these buildings to survive.
Locals are trying to save as much as they can. They've removed doors, windows, furniture, and carried everything up the side of the hill where they pray the lava won't reach.
Ou seja, nesse momento ali, casa dinha, já que estou já, mas completa.
So where was her house?
So the house is completely covered, and everything, all stuff inside. She didn't have time to take out.
The people of Portela have not only lost their homes, they've lost their livelihoods. It's absolutely devastating.
Hard to put into words. This unstoppable lava flow it's in town right now.
This is the head of the beast I've been chasing across the island. If I want to get close enough to analyze this lava, I need my heat-resistant suit. It can protect me from temperatures of up to 2,000 degrees.
Now, what this suit does is it protects me from the radiant heat. What it does not protect me from is the actual rocks, these avalanches of lava chunks. So the lava here is actually a little bit more fluid than in the other part of town. As soon as I touch my hammer to the lava, it just immediately bursts into flames. Even with the suit, that is unbearably hot. It's burning my ears. Ow! Ow!
I'm using an infrared thermometer. Lava can reach temperatures up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
I've gone off the scale.
This lava must be hotter than the 1,000 degrees that this thermometer can read.
Off the scale. Okay, that's useless.
Evacuation of these homes began as soon as the volcano first erupted.
Oh, wow. Oh, jeez. Holy smokes.
Less than a week ago, the family who lived here was forced to evacuate in the middle of the night, taking with them whatever they could carry.
The glass is broken. The door is hot. Wow, more glass coming through. Very, very soon, this wall is going to just completely come crashing in. I don't think this lock is going to hold it for much longer. It sounds like rain or hail outside, but it's actually rocks coming in. Wow. That was something.
I may have just avoided death by steamrolling hot lava. Even though the lava appears to be moving relatively slowly, It's actually moving at 100 feet an hour. It would take it under 3 hours to cross a football field. That's fast. In 4 days, the lava has destroyed just about everything in this town. And by the end of the week, another town will be in the lava's path.
To me, it blows my mind how we all live on this thin skin, this crust on top of the Earth. If you were to shrink the Earth down to the size of an apple, the crust that we live on would be about as thick as the skin on that apple. And everything else inside is basically this. Civilization exists because of geological permission, which is revocable at any time. I don't know how we do it. It's amazing.
It's the reason volcanoes are so closely monitored. Except poor countries don't always have the resources and latest technologies to observe them as carefully as they'd like to. This really is a world problem. While it's too late for Portela, other towns on the island are still at risk. So for now, my biggest concern is just how far this lava flow can go. And for that, I've got to get closer to the source. And I've just met a local who might be my ticket to the top.
It flies up about 600 feet and then it comes down, so it cools off on the way down. Yeah, but it's still enough instant. I mean, it goes like this. We thought the whole place was going.
How difficult is it to get there?
Man, 10 minutes.
So you can drive right up to a point and then walk for 10 minutes?
Yeah, I got my car right over here.
I love you.
There's tons of seismic activity.
Yeah.
This area is not stable. I mean, absolutely not. Just it's very, very, very quiet right now. But they do not know if it's going to blow or not. I'm trying to help these guys get rid of their wine, so I had a few glasses. I mean, they ain't going to be able to pump all of it up, so I'm going up there in a little while. It takes got about an hour walk back to the car.
Yeah.
But the twilight hour is the best. You'll see the smoke and the flames.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets dark, you can only see the
if we can follow you.
Sure, no problem.
So I met up with this very odd dude whose name is Vince, and he says that he can get me up to the vent. So I'm gonna trust him and follow him right now and see if we can get up there. It's starting to get dark, so we should be able to see that real incandescence coming up from the volcano. So I don't know how this is gonna work out, but stay tuned, we'll see. Vince knows the roads of this island like the back of his hand. He usually leads fishing charters, but tonight he's guiding us as close to the eruption as possible. Then we'll have to hike the rest of the way. Hopefully getting this close to the source will get me the answers I'm looking for.
Now that night has fallen, I can clearly see that there's almost continuous explosions going on the flank of the volcano. There's actually two very vigorous vents and a lava flow coming down the side. It's a little hard to see still, but that just means I have to get a bit closer. All right, folks. The really big lava flow, that's what's heading down into the towns. But higher up, the explosive part of the eruption, to me, it looks like there's too much lava for these explosions. So I think there's some lava tube or something below, further down the mountain, that's feeding these lava flows.
Lava tubes are formed when the top of lava flows harden and forms a roof above it. It acts like a tunnel and drains the lava from the volcano. This may mean the threat is greater than I thought, and many more communities could be at risk, starting with the neighboring town of Banguera.
Every time there's an explosion, I can feel the shock wave and the ground shaking.
This is what's called a strombolian eruption, named after the active Stromboli volcano in Italy. It spews lava at regular intervals.
You can see these lava bombs shooting up, just hundreds and hundreds of yards up in the air and tumbling down the side. These glowing chunks of lava are being pushed out at high pressure from these expanding gases deep inside the Earth.
I've got to be careful. There have been a few close ones.
A light show like this, it's nature's fireworks. It really is the best show on Earth. However, at the same time, if you're downhill of one of these things and the lava flow is coming for your village or your house, it's hard to appreciate the beauty.
Since the volcano first erupted 10 days ago, more than 1,000 people have fled their homes. Entire communities lost under hardened lava.
Let me tell you, what a difference a day makes. Yesterday, I was inside this building as the lava flow came crashing through the door. Today, the entire building is completely destroyed by this lava flow. The good news is that it has stopped, for now. I can still hear in the distance the volcano erupting, so it could restart at any time. We don't know exactly what the future is going to hold for this town.
The economic impact is enormous. Destroyed homes, lost livelihoods, less land available for agriculture. Many of the refugees will not be coming back. But fast forward 10, 20, 30 years from now, and this land will once again offer up the nutrient-rich soil that will attract a new wave of farmers. So, despite the risk of future eruptions, the people of Fogo will eventually rebuild their communities within the caldera. It is, after all, the only option they have. Within months of leaving the island, we get word that the volcano continued to erupt, and as feared, destroyed the neighboring town of Banguera. Months after the first eruption, it's not showing any signs of stopping. Global temperatures are getting warmer. Glaciers are melting. Sea levels are rising. Scientists agree that increasing carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere are changing our climate. For some, where those gases are coming from is still a matter of debate. Planes, cars, and industry are commonly accepted as the main culprits. But volcanic eruptions are also known to throw huge amounts of gas into the atmosphere. I'm making it my mission to climb into one of the world's most active volcanoes to find out if those gases are contributing to climate change.
It blows me away every time I see this many cars, and this is just one highway in one city. How much carbon dioxide are we putting into the atmosphere? But it's not just us. There are other more natural sources of greenhouse gas as well. Things such as melting permafrost and cow farts, believe it or not. Some people even say that the volcanoes of the world are creating more greenhouse gas than all of the human activity combined. How do you respond to people who are, I don't even use the word skeptic, because skeptic is not the right word.
Deniers is a better word.
Deniers who are claiming volcanoes contribute more greenhouse gases than all of the industrialized countries put together.
What we're dealing here with is a deeply held belief system. It could have elements of political persuasion.
They're usually sort of predisposed to believe anything that means you don't have to do anything, don't have to take action, right? So if it's just volcanoes, well, there's nothing we can do about that, so that's fine, just let the volcanoes go off and nature will take care of itself, you know.
At any given time, there are 50 to 60 active volcanoes around the world. Eruptions expel huge amounts of gas into the atmosphere, which some believe is leading to climate change.
I don't know if I buy that, but it's something I really need to check out, and I know just the place.
My curiosity brings me to the nation of Vanuatu. It's a small archipelago of about 80 islands in the South Pacific Ocean. I've landed in the capital of Port Vila, but my final destination is the neighboring island of Ambrym, the home of one of the world's most active volcanoes.
The weather there is notoriously awful. There's volcanic gas, there's acid rain, and, of course, the threat is always there for a larger eruption, so it's not the most hospitable place on Earth.
I know this area of the world well. I even got married in 2006 on the lip of an exploding volcano in Vanuatu. That's where we're getting married, right at the top of the Yasser, and it's real active today. Now I'm going to an even more active and more remote volcano on the island of Ambrym. I'm getting some help on this expedition.
Sara.
Finally here.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to Vanuatu.
Sara Hofritz is an accomplished young geologist from Denmark. She has the equipment to help us determine how much dangerous gas the volcano is emitting and if it's contributing to climate change. frequent eruptions on Ambrum create weather conditions that make flying to the island a challenge. It looks like we've lucked out with a clear day.
The trick is it going to be clear on Ambrum? Typically the place is shrouded in cloud a lot of the time. So I've got my fingers crossed. I'm very hopeful. So far, so good.
I'm very interested in seeing how nature is behaving in this setting. It's gonna be cool.
There are two active volcanic cones on this island, Mount Benbow and Mount Maroom. Over the past decade, there's been an increase in emissions of volcanic gases from both of them. In 2009, approximately 15,000 tons of sulfur dioxide was emitted into the atmosphere in one day. Despite the danger of these frequent eruptions, almost 9,000 people live on the island of Ambrum. To them, the volcano is a part of life. Before we head to the summit, Sara and I want to gauge the effect the volcano is having on the local village of Endu.
Is this your drinking water?
Yeah. This water has a source right up on the mountain.
And is it from a well?
No,
or a spring?
It's spring water.
Spring water.
Yeah.
During major explosive eruptions, huge amounts of volcanic gas, including sulfur dioxide, get ejected into the atmosphere. Large clouds can pollute the air downwind of the volcano, and when mixed with moisture, can lead to acid rain. This contamination has harmful effects on water supplies for people, plants, and animals. Sara came equipped to determine if this community is at risk. Today, we're testing the drinking water. What do we have here?
This is a conductivity meter, and that will tell me how many ions in the water.
270.
Yeah, 270 microsiemens. So that means there definitely is some ions in the water. Very likely some sulfur and some fluorine, which is still rather high.
To put it into perspective, pure drinking water typically contains less than 5 microsiemens of concentrated minerals. This town's water is over 50 times that amount. Drinking contaminated water can damage teeth and bones. A recent government of Vanuatu report predicts a dire future for the island as future eruptions and resulting contamination from acid rain is almost certain. The brooding outline of the volcano is nearly always shrouded in gas and cloud.
When we have a volcano that's active like Ambrum is, I want to see how much sulfur dioxide and how much carbon dioxide is being emitted at the volcano.
We know volcanic eruptions emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but enough to cause climate change? It's time to find out.
Awesome.
For the next 5 days, we'll be eating, sleeping, and working at the summit of this active volcano. This is about as far away from civilization as it gets.
Welcome to Maram. Yeah, exactly. This is your leg.
The summit of a volcano is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. The air is heavy with a mixture of gases, and when inhaled, it can be deadly.
The conditions up here are so bad, I'd say the only place you'd find them is on another planet.
Our guide is Jeff Mackley, nicknamed Danger Man. He was the first person to explore the depths of this volcano.
The camp looks like it's taken a beating.
Hey, George.
Yes?
This is your tent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
When you've got hurricane force winds mixed with very sharp gravel and high strength sulfuric acid, it's like somebody firing a fire hose full of gravel and sulfuric acid at you, and that can go on for a week.
The condition of this tent is a testament to what the weather can really be like up here. Extremely high winds, sandblasting with all this volcanic ash and gravel, and of course, the acid in the atmosphere has weakened this material down to nothing.
It may be dangerous at the summit, but tomorrow we'll climb down into the belly of the beast.
You can feel the heat all the way from up here.
It's very violent.
Boiling pools of lava and seemingly endless plumes of gas await us at the bottom of the crater. But I need to get closer to the volcano to find out more about the gases it's emitting. And that's where the real danger is.
Very few volcanoes are capable of producing the amount of gas that Ambrum can. There are several vents here that are all vigorously degassing hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, hydrogen fluoride.
Are these dangerous gases contributing to our warming planet? Sara has the latest technology to measure just that. She's using a fly speck to measure the sulfur dioxide levels in the air at Ambrum.
So now it's scanning through the plume, going from over here and scanning the way through.
This data will reflect the amount of toxic SO2 at the summit and help us understand if and how this contributes to climate change. But to get more data, we'll have to go straight to the source.
Sara is getting her chance to go into the volcano, so this is going to be really, really fun.
But today, visibility is poor, and I'm hoping it doesn't get any worse.
The entire crater right now is completely filled with gas.
But let's try and see if it clears up.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Are you good to go?
I feel so.
For even the most experienced climber, this descent is a challenge.
Nice steady creeper.
Brad, our guide, will be leading us down the tricky descent, and I'll be following behind Sara. With almost a straight drop of 1,200 feet to the bottom, a lot could go wrong.
To get down to the bottom, it's so deep that the ropes just are not going to be long enough, so we have to do a multi-stage rappel in 3 different steps.
Can you imagine all this used to be covered by rock, and then it had this big explosion, and now we're just in the hole of it?
Now that Sara has safely reached the 100-yard ledge, I can start my descent.
This is insane. It's beautiful.
You know, everything around here is trying to kill you, but apart from that, it's great.
The weather is closing in, making it hard to see where we're climbing.
Not feeling very confident about this.
Brad calls off the climb. It's too dangerous. The visibility has gotten so poor that we'd be doing the descent virtually blind. Our visit to the crater will have to wait. Maybe next time.
Visibility has dropped down tremendously, which is never a good thing around here. And I'm starting to feel some drizzle coming in, which usually leads to torrential rains and storms.
You can hear the roar of the wind and the gravel being brought towards you. And then your tent just violently shakes. And it just keeps battering and battering and battering your tent until, you know, bit by bit there might be something that comes loose.
An unexpected storm has delayed our mission.
We need to seal that corner up too, or we'll lose that.
We've done everything we can to secure our tents. Now, we just need to hunker down and ride out this ferocious storm. It was a tough night, but by the morning, it's over. Now we have to get back to work, which means getting to the bottom of the crater, poor visibility or not. Sara isn't joining me on my descent today, as last night's storm took away her valuable research time.
The goal is to get all the way to the bottom, 1,200 feet, gather some rock samples for Sara, and get some thermal imagery of the lava lake itself. Big day today. Rock and roll. It's ridiculous.
Just the sound of the lava lake below. It's wild. I've described it to people as sounding like the devil's washing machine. And you don't want to end up in that spin cycle.
The biggest danger is rock fall. If you knock a rope, rock comes down, hits your buddy in the head, you're dead meat. The trick is slow and steady, nice and safe, because anything and everything can go wrong here.
At the summit, Sara is measuring how much carbon dioxide is being emitted from the soil. As long as a volcano is active, it's emitting gases. The carbon dioxide migrates through cracks to the soil on the side of the volcano. The levels of CO2 found will help Sara in her analysis of whether volcanoes are leading to climate change.
3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I'm getting really high values. I want to see how it compares to measurements up on the crater side and getting closer and closer to the caldera rim.
It takes me 2 grueling hours to make it down to the bottom of the crater.
Top side, I am free of the rope. Okay, we're gonna get our first look at this thing up close. Wow. This is liquid rock. The heat is just unbelievable right now. It's burning the back of my neck.
Lava lakes are a rare phenomenon, formed when molten lava becomes trapped in a volcanic crater.
First things first, I'm gonna get some thermal images.
Examining thermal images helps us understand more about the volcano and its activity.
Unless you've actually experienced lava firsthand, it's hard to comprehend just how hot it is.
Normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The average oven reaches 450 degrees Fahrenheit.
1,200 Fahrenheit.
This is a whole other level of heat.
1,400, 1,600, 1,697. Holy cow. I gotta be careful, I'm definitely within the splash zone.
Even the smallest piece of flying lava could burn through my clothes and skin.
Ah, it's burning. Woo. All this ejecta coming out of the lava lake are very fresh, so that should be perfect for what Sara needs. I just gotta grab a couple of fresh samples and watch my back at the same time. It's really scary turning your back on this thing. This really fine stuff is Pele's hair. When the bubbles on the lava lake burst, they form these tiny little hairs and they'll drift all the way up to camp. I can get a little bit closer, but I'm gonna have to put on my special heat suit.
It's a good thing I came prepared. This suit can withstand temperatures up to 3,000 degrees.
I think I'm ready. If you want to get a really good view, you have to be protected, otherwise the radiant heat is just too much. Wow. That is about as crazy as it gets. My big concern right now is watching for pieces of lava splashing up. Wow. Here's some big pieces coming. Big pieces coming.
I can't leave before collecting some samples for Sara.
Oh, here we go. Here's a really fresh piece, still glowing hot. Oh, even with the gloves. Today was a success. Got up close, got some really good samples, some good thermal data.
The newly formed lava samples will give us the most accurate results about their chemical makeup and indicate the quantity and types of gases being emitted. This will help Sara determine if volcanoes are contributing to climate change.
It's just, really, it's not like anywhere else. This pit, you expect the devil himself to come jumping out of it. I got some goodies for you. These are the ones that were fresh out of the volcano. They were so hot. So this is the newest rock on Earth. You want it fresh? I got you fresh.
We've now collected data from the summit and straight from the lava lake in the crater. If this volcano is having any effect on climate change, we'll have the numbers to prove it. We've spent the last few days on this volcano gathering data to help investigate the claim that volcanoes contribute to climate change. Now, it's the moment of truth.
What you got?
I'm looking at some of the data, and I've summed it up.
First, Sara analyzes the carbon dioxide readings she took from the soil surrounding the volcano. How much gas is it emitting?
The carbon dioxide is up around 21,000 tons a day.
21,000 tons a day just from here, yeah?
Yes, from the Ambrum.
Next, Sara adds up the sulfur dioxide emissions she took at the summit to see how much Ambrum is releasing.
The volcano here is emitting around 7,800 tons a day. It's a lot of sulfur dioxide.
But to get a clear answer, Sara needs to add the sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide results to the data that's being collected from other volcanoes around the world.
Total volcanic budget, global, that's 0.26 gigatons a year. So it's quite a lot.
But most importantly, how does that compare to human activity?
Human activity is 35 gigatons a year.
35 gigatons?
Yes.
Versus 0.2 for all volcanoes combined?
Yes.
So, do volcanoes contribute to global warming?
I think we're gonna say no.
No.
Definitely
no. It doesn't. We have the numbers to prove it.
Yes.
In fact, according to data collected by scientists around the world, the sulfur dioxide gas being released here can actually help the planet. The gas forms tiny droplets of sulfuric acid, also known as volcanic aerosols, which block sunlight, and that causes the climate to cool.
After large eruptions like Mount Pinatubo, Mount St. Helens, detectable drops in temperature were found around the world due to sulfur dioxide and other aerosols in the atmosphere from these eruptions.
Even with all this unimaginable heat, power, and gas that comes out of not just this volcano, but all the world's volcanoes, the amount of greenhouse gas that comes out of them only amounts to about 1% of the total greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. Whew. The rest comes from us. Volcanoes are not to blame. We have volcanoes to thank.